let us just continue from where we had stopped. Okay, we are going to continue from where we had stopped. If I can remember, we did. Let me see. Not this one. Ours is this, I think. Okay, yes. So we had stopped where? Under secondary data. That's where we stopped last time. Okay, so let us proceed and we got something else. Okay, we are going to we did data sources. Now let us go to data collection tools. Okay, so let us go to data collection tools. So data collection tools is going to be 3.6, which is data collection tools. Now, under data collection tools, of course, we have different types of data collection tools. Okay, for instance, we have what you call self-administered questionnaire. Some people they call it a survey. Then we also have what you call an interview guide. Okay, so these are the major tools, major data collection tools in research. We have what you call self-administered questionnaire. And what is a self-administered questionnaire? A self-administered questionnaire is not just a normal questionnaire, but we call it self-administered. Okay, because it is administered to one person, so that's why it is called self-administered. But it is just the normal questionnaire that you know. Okay, so we are going to apply the other structure of ours. I don't know whether I remember the structure. Where is the structure? Our structure is here. Let me bring it down here so that you don't forget it. Okay, so the first thing that you're supposed to do under this structure is state the item. So we are going to state the item. How? By saying that the study will involve the use of self-administered questionnaires. Okay, that means that we have stated the item. Okay, now I can put this one in red because that is stating the item. Then what is next? The next thing is defining the item. So we are supposed to define the item. In this case, the item is what? Self-administered questionnaire. So we are going to go to the internet. We are going to go to our Google page, just like this. Where is our Google page? Yes, it's here. And then we look for definition of self-administered questionnaire, just like this. Okay, and then we can pick this definition. This is the definition. Copy it, and then we take it where? Take it in our work. Just as simple as that. Okay, so I've copied it. I'm going to paste it here. So this is the definition. Let me put it in the color what? Color green. Okay, what is next? The next thing is explaining. So you're supposed to explain this item. Which people, which category of people are you going to distribute these questionnaires to? Okay, so you're going to come back here on this table, and then remember we're going to interview some people, and then the other people we're going to interview to give them questionnaires. So how do you know that you should interview these ones, and how do you know that you should give questionnaires to the other people? Now, where you have a small number, you can interview them. Okay, especially where we have purposive sampling. Okay, that means that we are going to be interviewing the two categories. We're going to interview top authorities of the bank and human resource officials, because you can see the numbers are very small. But where you have 5 or where you have 145, then these ones are big numbers. So we can give them what? We can give them questionnaires, meaning that we are going to give questionnaires to these two categories of people, other bank employees and the bank clients. But the first two categories, we are going to interview them because the numbers are small. Okay, if the number is small, then you can interview them. But if the number is big, then you can give them questionnaires. Okay, meaning that here, we're going to say that the researcher will distribute questionnaires to other employees, other bank employees, and the bank clients. That is explaining the item. And this one should be in which color? Should be in blue, because that is explaining the item. Now, the last one is justification. Okay, why are you using the self-administered questionnaire? Okay, so the justification, you're supposed to start it like this. You're going to say that the researcher will use this for because. After putting because, then that's when you're going to look for the justification or the advantage and put it there. Okay, so let us go back to the internet, just like this. Okay, and then we look for the advantages of what? of self-administered questionnaire. Just like one advantage is enough. Okay, just like that. Just hold on, my internet is a little bit slow. Just hold on, guys. My internet is somehow slow, but they are coming. Okay.
We are not hear you. We are not here. We are not here.
You can hear me now? I'm ready. Khalid and Adam, can you hear me?
Hello.
You can hear me? Khalid, can you hear me?
But teacher, yes, but the network is fair. Yes, I can hear. But network is very slow. The network is very poor.
Okay. Abdul, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Now I hear.
The network is very poor today, I think. Sorry about that. But I'm recording the video, so you don't have to mind about that. I'm recording the video. After finishing the session, of course, I'll put the recorded video in the Telegram group.
Okay.
So let us continue. Wait, let's stop. I stopped on. Let me see. We had stopped on. Yes. So let us go to another tool, which is interview guide. So we are supposed to apply the other same method. State the item, define the item, explain the item, and then you give a justification. Okay. So how do we do that? We're going to say that the researcher will also use interview guides. Okay, that is stating the item. What is next thing? The next thing is supposed to be what? Defining the item. So we're supposed to define what an interview guide is. So we are going to go to the internet just like this. Okay, and then we look for the definition of what? Of interview guide. Okay, just like this. Okay. So we are looking for the definition of interview guide. Okay, and then after getting the definition, copy that definition just like that, and then we bring it where? We bring it in our work. Okay, so that is definition of the this is defining the item. It should be in color green. Okay, then what is next? The next thing is supposed to be explaining the item. So how are you supposed to explain interview guide? You're supposed to go back to the table above here and then look for the categories that you are supposed where you're going to be interview guide. So we are going to be interviewing two categories. Those are top authorities of Salama Bank and human resource officials. So we're going to come here and then we say that's the researcher for the interview top authorities of Salama Bank and the human resource officials of the bank, of course. So that is explaining the item. Guys, if you have any question, please ask me. If there is something that you don't understand, please feel free, you can ask. Okay, so this is stating the item, this is defining the item, this is explaining the item. Then the last one is supposed to be a justification. Okay, the reason why we're using this item. Okay, so how do we do that? We are supposed to start by seeing the researcher. We'll use this tool because after putting because, then you're supposed to look for what? You're supposed to look for what? You're supposed to look for the advantage. Okay, so let us go back to the internet and then we look for the what? Advantages, okay, of interview guide. So advantages, you can even take one, okay? You can even take one. Let me see, you can as well take, which one can we take? You can as well take, okay, let us take this, oh, this, okay? So you can take only one. So I'm looking for the justification of the what? The justification for the reason for using that item. Okay, so we are going to come here and then look for one advantage. For instance, we can take this. These are advantages of the interview. Okay, so we can copy that and then we take it and then we use it in our work just like this. Okay, because of is a correction of speech, something like that. So that is what you're supposed to be doing under data correction tools. But before we go to something else, we have two things. We have data correction tools and then we also have data correction methods. The two are totally different from each other. Okay, so we also have what you call data correction methods. Now, what's the difference between data correction tools and data correction methods? Tools are the things that you can touch, like a self-administered questionnaire, okay, like an interview guide. Now, these ones are like form of a paper, you can touch them, okay? But a method is just the procedure that you are going to go through to use that method, that tool, okay? For instance, we have questionnaires, administered questionnaires. Okay, we have interviews, we have focus group discussion. So these are methods, guys. Okay, these are methods. They are not tools. You cannot touch them. Okay, a method is like a procedure that you're going to go through when you are using the tool. Okay, whereas the tool is that very thing that you can touch. Okay, you can touch a self-administered questionnaire, which is same as a survey. You can as well touch an interview guide because it is in form of a paper. It is just a paper that has a list of questions that you're supposed to be using when you're interviewing someone. Okay, so those are tools. Those are data collection tools. Okay, whereas the method is a procedure that you are going to go through when you're doing what? When you're using those tools. Okay, so without wasting any more time, let us go to something else. Now, starting from here, I want you guys to see this. Okay, starting from validity up to the end here, we are not going to be using the other method. We are not going to be using the method of stating the item, defining the item, explaining the item. No. Why? Because starting from validity up to the end, you are supposed to use the information that I'm going to give you. Okay. So, and where do you get it from? You can get it from other people's dissertation. Okay. So, what we are going to do here, I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to copy them from somewhere else and then I explain them. Okay. So let me go somewhere else and then I can copy them. Okay, just like this. I'm going to explain for you, don't worry. Okay. Hold on a minute. So starting from validity, okay? Starting from validity here, okay? Starting from validity and reliability of the instrument, okay? Up to the end of chapter 3, we are not going to use this method, okay? No, you're supposed to use the same words, the same information that I'm going to give, that I've just put here, but I'm going to explain it for you. So let us start with validity. Here we have validity and reliability of the instrument. Now, these are two things. There is validity and there is reliability. Okay, so let us start with validity. Validity, of course, this information is, you're supposed to copy it and paste it there just like that. Okay, because you are not supposed to copy this information from the internet. You're supposed to get it from other people's dissertations. Okay, so validity here refers to the degree to which results obtained from analysis of the study of the data actually represent the phenomenon under study. Full stop. That is according to so and so. And then we are seeing that in calculating for validity, the researcher will ensure that questions are relevant. We will ensure that questions are relevant in order to ensure that data collected gives meaningful and reliable results presented by the variables. Okay, what do I mean here? When you are conducting the validity, you have to ensure that the questions that you give are relevant, okay? They are clear, they are valid, okay? And then that's when you will be able to determine for validity, okay? And when you are calculating for validity, we use the formula, okay? So this is the formula that we use when you are determining for validity. CVI. Now, what does CVI stand for? CVI stands for Content Validity Index, okay? That is CVI. CVI, Content Validity Index. So CVI is the same as validity. They're the same. This is just the formula for validity. Okay. So how do we? What does the formula state? It states that number of questions declared valid divided by the total number of questions in the questionnaire. Okay. CVI is equal to number of questions declared valid divided by number of questions in the questionnaire. Now, remember, assuming that we have already our questionnaire designed, okay, and our questionnaire has a total number of questions which are 27. So I was saying that the CVI, or Content Validity Index, its formula states that number of questions declared valid divided by the total number of questions in the questionnaire. That is what it states. Okay, and when we come down here, we are seeing that CVI is equal to 24 divided by 27. Now, where does 24 come from? Now, assuming that our questionnaire has 27 questions, okay, because the one that we put down here is the total number of questions in the questionnaire, meaning that if you count all the questions in the questionnaire, you're going to get 27. Okay, and now how do you get the number of questions that are declared valid? So we do like this. You're supposed to go to the field, give out a sample, let's say 10 questionnaires to the people. People are going to fill them in, and then they return them to you. Okay, so when they return them to you, when they are returning them to you, you're supposed to ask them which of these questions were difficult for you. Okay, and then they will tell you maybe this number was difficult, the other number was difficult, this number was difficult. Then you count those numbers that were difficult for these respondents. Okay, count the number of questions that were difficult for the people, for the respondents. Okay, and then get the total number of questions, reduct the number of questions that were difficult for them, and then the remaining will be the number of questions that are declared valid. So that's how we got 24, meaning that 3 questions were difficult for the people. Okay, because our whole questionnaire has how many 20 questions? It has 27 questions. Okay, but if we have 24, it means that 3 of the questions were difficult for most of the people who filled in our questionnaire. Okay, so what you do, you get 24 divided by 27, and then you are coming up with 0.89. Okay, now how do you know that the instrument is valid or not valid? If you get the answer that is above 0.70, then it means that the instrument is valid. Okay, if you get the number that is less than 0.70, then it means that the instrument is not valid. Okay, just hold on, my camera, I'm starting it. Okay, so how do you know that the instrument is valid or not valid? When you get the answer here, you're going to compare it with 0.70. Where does 0.70 come from? it is fixed. Okay, 0.70 is always fixed. When the instrument is above 0.7, then you say that the instrument is valid. When the instrument is below 0.70, then it means the instrument is not valid. Abdweri, you are raising your hand. You have a question? Abdweri, do you have a
Yes,
question?
teacher.
Yes.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, ask.
To you, CFI, you say the number of questions declared 24 and 27. What is it stand for?
Okay. Now, we are assuming that we already have our questionnaire. Okay, I think you know how a questionnaire looks like. A questionnaire contains a list of questions that you are going to give to the people in the field. Okay, the one that you are going to distribute to the people so that they can fill in. That is a questionnaire. Okay, and that questionnaire has a number of questions, or if you count all the number of questions, there are how many? There were 27. I'm just using this as an example. Okay, meaning that the whole question, because we are following this method here. Okay, the total number of questions in the questionnaire, there were what? 27. Then the number that we put up here is the number of questions that were declared valid. What does that mean? Your questionnaire has 27 questions. Okay, that's what we have put down here. Now, where do we get 24 from? 24 is gotten from the number of questions that are declared valid. I was telling you that for validity, to determine or to calculate for validity, you need to have some sample questionnaires. Okay, you can have like 10 questionnaires. I'm just using this as an example. You can have like 10 questionnaires. You get these 10 questionnaires, go to the field. Maybe your field is like Hondan district in Mogadishu or Bosaso or Garawe. Go there and then give out these 10 questionnaires. Okay, they can be 10, they can be 15, they can be 20. Okay, but this is the test. This is a pilot study. This is the test. It is not data collection. We are testing the questionnaire. We are testing for validity of the instrument. And the instrument here that we are talking about is the questionnaire. Many people don't even know what the instrument is. Validity and reliability of the instrument. The instrument is always the questionnaire only. So I was still telling that you're supposed to get like 10 questionnaires, go to the field. Maybe your case study is in Garawe, go to Garawe, and then you give out those 10 questionnaires. Okay? And then people are going to fill them in and then they return them to you. When these people are returning these questionnaires to you, after filling them in, you are going to ask them which of these questions were difficult for you. And then they will tell you maybe number 5 was difficult, number 8 was difficult, number 17 was difficult. Then count those questions that were difficult. Those are so far 3 questions that were difficult. So count the 3 questions, okay, and then reduct them from the total number of questions in the whole questionnaire. The whole question has how many questions? It has 27. It can have 20, it can have 30, it can have 40 questions, depending. But here we're just using an example, a questionnaire that has how many questions? 27. So when you get 27 minus 3, then you get 24. Okay, so that's why we are getting 24 and we're dividing it by 27. Okay, and then the answer we get, we have to compare it with 0.70. 0.70 is like average. When you get the answer that is above 0.7, you say that the instrument is valid. If let's say we have gotten an answer like this, this is less than 0.70. Therefore, we would have said that the instrument is not valid. Okay, but we got 89, which is above 0.70, and therefore we have to say that the instrument is valid. Okay, so that's how you're supposed to be doing this. Okay, when the CVI that you get is above 0.70, then you're supposed to say that the instrument is valid. If the answer you get here is less than 0.70, then you say the instrument is not valid, and then you test again. Okay, have I answered your question, Abdweli? If there's something that you are not understanding, please ask. Abdweli, do you have any question? So let us proceed. Yes. Abdweli, do you have something else you wanted to ask? Okay, so let us proceed. Let us go to reliability. Okay. So let us go to reliability. Now, reliability of the instrument. Now, this one is also similar to validity, but we use SPSS to calculate for this. Okay, so let us first read through. We are saying that to ensure the reliability of the instrument, the researcher will use test method. That is what it is saying. To ensure the reliability of the instrument, the researcher will use test method. Now, what is test method? Test-to-test method means that you are going to give questionnaires to the people, but this is a test still. This is not data collection. Okay, this is not like real research. This is just a test. We are just testing the questionnaire still. Okay, so you're supposed to give out questionnaires to the people. People are going to fill them in, and then people are going to fill them in, and then they return them to you. Okay, so you have to give like, let's say 10 questionnaires. Okay, you give them to the people. People are going to fill them in, and then they return them to you. After returning them to you, you're going to get those questionnaires, enter them into SPSS program. I'll teach you how to do that. Okay, you enter that data into SPSS program, and then you compute for reliability analysis. And then you'll be able to get a table like this. Okay, now when you get this table, of course, it shows that chronobatch alpha value is 0.899, whereas the number of items is 27. Okay, this table comes from where? From SPSS, guys. Okay, so when you get that data, enter it in SPSS and compute for reliability analysis, you are going to come up with this table. I will show you how to do this, guys. Don't worry. Okay, and then when they say test to retest, it means that you are going to test. Okay, and then after let's say a period of 1 week, you're supposed to go back to the field and test again. Okay, so that's why we're saying that the questionnaire will be given to 10 people, and then after 2 weeks, the same questionnaire will be given to the same people, and then the chronobatch alpha will be computed using SPSS. That is what I mean. Okay, you are going to get this questionnaire, give it to 10 people, people are going to fill them in, then you get that data, put it in SPSS, and then you compute for ability statistics. Get the table like this. Then after a period of 2 weeks, you're going to get the same questionnaire, take it to the field, and then you give it out to the people, and then people are going to fill it in, and then they will return it to you. Do what? Enter that data into SPSS, and then compute again for reliability statistics, and then you get another table. So after getting these two tables, you're going to compare these two tables, and then pick a table that has the biggest chronobatch alpha value. Okay, for instance, in the first time you could have gotten this, and the second time you could have gotten this. Okay, so you have to take the second table because the number here is bigger than this one that you got the first time. Okay, so you have to take the table that has the biggest number. Okay, and then get that answer and then compare it to 0.75. Okay, for validity it is 0.70. Okay, that's when you know that the instrument is valid. Okay, but for reliability it is 0.75. Okay, when you get the answer that is above 0.75, then you say that the instrument is reliable. Okay, so that's why here we're saying that the instrument is reliable because this answer is above 0.75. Okay, but if you had gotten like this number that is less than 0.75, then we would have said that the instrument is not reliable. Okay, any questions? Please, if you have any questions, you can ask me. If there's something that you don't understand, please, you can ask me. Okay, so let us go ahead. Let us go to something else, which is data collection procedures. Now, when you are conducting research, you also have what you call data collection procedures, the procedures that you are going to go through to collect data. Okay, so these are the procedures. You're supposed to say that an introductory letter or permission letter will be obtained from International University of East Africa. Of course, here you're supposed to indicate your university where you're studying from, whether it is Mount Kenya, whether it is Makerere, whether it is East Africa, wherever you study from. So you're supposed to say that an introductory letter will be obtained from the university. You mention the name of your university where you're studying from. And then after that, you're supposed to go ahead and say, when it is approved, the researcher will make a list of qualified respondents from top authorities, human resource officials, other bank staff, and the bank clients. Now, these are the respondents that you are supposed to engage in your research. Okay, so you have to make a list of the people that you are going to engage in your research. Okay, and then after that, we are seeing that the researcher will then explain the purpose of the study to the respondents and then request them to sign the informed consent form. Now, before you give the questionnaires to these people, you're supposed to request these people to sign the informed consent form. Okay, why? Because if they don't sign this form, then that means that they are not allowed to give you information. Okay, so it is called an informed consent form. You are asking them for permission. Okay, so that is it. Then after that, the researcher will recruit and train research assistants to collect accurate data timelessly. Now, meaning that you cannot go to the field alone. You can get like your classmates, your friends, and then you train them on how to collect the data. Okay, and then those are going to be your research assistants. Okay, so your research assistant you are going to train them, you are going to recruit them, train them, and then that way to you'll be able to collect accurate data. Okay, so that's why you're supposed to go with some friends or some relatives or some classmates of yours in the field so that they can help you in giving out questionnaires. Why? Because sometimes you can have like a large sample size. If let's say you're supposed to give out questionnaires to let's say 300 people, okay, giving out 300 people it might take you even like a whole week. Okay, but when you are like 3 people, when you are 4 people, you can distribute questionnaires faster, and then you finish in a very few days and you go away. Okay, so that's why you need what you call research assistants. So those research assistants are the ones that are going to help you to do what? To give out the questionnaires, the people, to correct the questionnaires from those people. Okay, so that is it. Then after that, we also have what you call we are remaining with 5 minutes, guys. So bear with, you should know that we're just remaining with 5 minutes. So after that, we are seeing that the respondents will be requested to answer in full and not leave any part of the questionnaires unanswered. So when you are giving out these questionnaires to people, you have to tell them that they're supposed to fill in all the parts of the questionnaire. Okay, because if they leave some parts of the questionnaire not filled in, then it's going to affect your data. Okay, when you're entering data into a space, then it's going to be very difficult for you. Okay, and then after that, we also see that the researcher and the assistants will correct the questionnaires within 2 weeks from the date of distribution, full stop, and all the returned questionnaires will be checked if they are all answered. Okay, so all this is under data collection procedures, the procedures or the processes that you are going to go through when you're collecting data from the field. Okay, so that is data collection procedures. After that, we are going to go to data presentation. Now, what is all about data presentation? Data presentation here, we are seeing that the data obtained from the questionnaires will be double checked to make sure that the information provided is complete, consistent, reliable, and accurate. Okay, and then we're also seeing that data processing will involve scrutiny of responses provided by the different respondents. Full stop. The data will be sorted, edited, and interpreted. Okay, and then the researcher will then code and tabulate the data obtained. On the other hand, the researcher, the data from the interview guide will be analyzed and organized based on the patterns, repetitions, and commonalities. Okay, full stop. And then we're also saying that the data that will be used to reinforce the information got from the questionnaires to draw conclusion and recommendation. Now, that is for the case of the data that we're going to get from where? From the interview guide. Okay, so the data that we are going to be obtaining from the interview guide, we're just going to be getting that information and then we add it in chapter 4, like the way it is. Okay, but the data that we are going to be getting from questionnaires, then we are going to be entering it into SPSS, and then we analyze. We draw tables and charts and equations and all those things. Okay, so that is something to do with data presentation. Okay, any questions? Guys, if you have any question, please ask me. If there's something that you've not understood, please ask me. So I think we are going to stop here because of time. Then on Monday, please, I want people you need to have laptops because you need to have SPSS program because after chapter 3, I'm going to be teaching you how to use SPSS, how to analyze data. So I would request you to get laptops. Okay, if you don't have laptops, you can borrow from your friends. Okay, and then in case you don't have SPSS program, please you can come to my office and I give you the program because